Good morning, everybody. You are listening to K-Talk Radio, 1640 AM. This is the show, Utah Home Sweet Home. I am your host, Yoshi Shiraki, and today our very special guest is Tyrone Smith, the receiver and cornerback for the University of Utah. Tyrone, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay, so here's what we've got going on. Tyrone is going to be sharing with us all sorts of good stuff. We're going to be talking about mindset, and we're going to be talking about the mindset to stay unstoppable. Tyrone has a nightmare story he's going to share with us. Injuries and all of that stuff, and without the proper mindset, a lot of people just don't come back from stuff like that. And so we're going to be dissecting mindset rituals, game day preparation, what it takes to come back from a season-ending injury. So if you're a high school player or know somebody who's a high school player and they get injured and their dreams of going to college they think are now over, they are not potentially over. It just may be a little extra hard work. And then of course we're going to hear about Tyrone's nightmare story of the injury. I know of 3 surgeries, right? You had to go through 3.
5.
Holy cow. Okay, so 5, yes. So I mean, if you've gotten injured and you're lined up for your first surgery and you think it's over, it's not. You got 4 more surgeries to go. Oh man. Yes. Okay, so basically, Tyrone, let's dive into this. I'm always curious, because you're not from Salt Lake City, how a kid from another state gets approached or introduced by a college, and in this case the University of Utah. Do you mind starting off by sharing your journey on how you became a Ute, since you're from California?
Yes. So where it all started, Tyrone Young Smith, it's my name, from Fresno, California. So the journey, the way it started was, actually I was just working out on the field. Usually you get recruited through game footage.
Okay.
But it was a little different for me, so me and another guy, we kind of started working on our mindsets junior year of high school, and we just held each other accountable like through every workout, and we always talked about just no matter what the vision is ahead of us, just to continue to push. And the vision was blurry. I didn't have any scholarships or anything. Grades were really bad. I think I had somewhere around a 2.0 average.
Got it.
Like my junior year of high school. And so the vision was blurry, and like I said, he held me accountable to continue to work hard no matter what was going on, even if I didn't get an offer. So my senior year came around, and I was just working out on the field, and a coach came out to visit one of my close friends from high school, and I was just doing ladder drills. That's it. And coach was like, man, like I can see something in this kid. Coach Sharif Shaw, and he believed in me, and
No way.
That's where it started from.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, so a lot of it was just fate and luck, because if you wouldn't have been there training, just home watching TV or playing Madden,
Exactly.
you wouldn't have been hypothetically discovered, is the word I think is appropriate for that.
Exactly. I mean, I could have been at home. I could have been anywhere, and like I said, my friend was the one that was really holding me accountable and was like, you can do whatever you want. Just keep pushing. And it's crazy because that's the hardest part. You have no vision.
Right.
It's just like
Right.
there's no finish line. It's just continue to work, and that it was crazy.
Yeah, and what's so special about that story is you're still a high school kid. You're a child, right? Like people struggle with having a blurry mindset in their 20s and 30s and not taking action because it's blurry. But you were probably, 15, 16, 17?
Yeah, I think I graduated at 17, so I was probably, 16 years old.
16.
Around this,
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So your buddy who was holding you accountable, did he go to play for the U2 then? Or?
No, my friend actually just, he ended up staying at home and just ended up working. But I don't know, it was just something that he believed in me, I believed in him, and either way, we made sure that if one did go somewhere and one didn't, that we wouldn't get mad or jealous or anything.
Sure.
Just continue to push each other. So the bond was strong. We were best friends from my freshman year of high school. So it It was all just
Support.
Yeah, it was support.
That's great. That's great. And before we started the show, while we were waiting for the show to go live, it sounds like you've created a very similar group of support. You were just telling me right before the show that you work out consistently with 2 other guys, sometimes as many as 5, where you guys are been training your butts off, ready for the regular season. Basically starts this Monday, right? Practice, you were saying?
Yes.
So you're in shape.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I forced that upon myself this off season. It's really just a battle of age. You know, I'm one of the oldest on the team, and it's really. I mean, now I'm competing against kids that are fresh. You know, 18 years old compared to me. So it's like the guys I work out with. 2 of the guys are older than me, and it's just like I could see them making progress. And
That's awesome.
Beating their best records from when they were in college, and it's just like, man, like. I don't feel like I'm old now. Like, it's just a mindset telling myself that, you know, stay young, you know, think young, stay young. So yeah, I mean, like I said, we're all, you know, we help each other out through each workout, just like the group I had or the friend I had in high school. So it's pretty similar.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And what I love about that, we were talking, I think it was last week, or I can't remember, last week or the week before, where you were telling me you were hiking Mount Olympus, and this older guy just jogged up past you and then jogged down past you, right? So age is only a number.
Exactly, yeah.
It's like, wow, what the heck?
That actually hurt me. It made me kind of, it made me just think again, like, man, am I getting old? Like,
yeah.
And then I thought, oh, you know, he's older than me, you know, I don't know how old he was, but I'm pretty sure he was, you know, close to his 60s, 70s, and just
jogging up Mount Olympus
the whole way.
Yeah, because I've hiked it and it kicked my butt, man. That is a hard hike.
Oh, it's hard.
It's all uphill. It's steep. If you've never hiked Mount Olympus, if you're looking for a afternoon challenge, it's a good afternoon challenge for sure. Oh man. Okay, so this coach, just if you could, I'm gonna dive into this a little bit more. You're out there running sprints. Do you know this is the coach, one of the coaches for the University of Utah, because your friend told you that they're coming to see me, or did you not even know?
I didn't know. So my friend that they came to see, he was a different friend of the guy that was helping me. You know, that was giving me the support. So I really didn't know. You know, we had colleges coming in almost every day for a period of time. Really, before the season, they would come in a lot, but this was different because it was after the season. So I had no clue who the coaches were. They came out. It wasn't like I went up and talked to them. It was I just continued to, you know, do what I had been doing for the longest, and it was just working out, and that's like the biggest thing for me is if you work out and you don't put a limit to things like, all right, I'm working out for this, then you just work out and you just enjoy it. So it was just more so telling myself, work out just for your body, you know, just to get in shape and stuff like that, and just to learn like new things. And it just so happened that a coach came out and seen me there.
That's amazing. That's incredible. So now you're doing drills. He spots you. Does he approach you that day, or does he get in touch with you later, or how did that work out?
So he came out and he told my friend, said, can we run through some drills? And same thing, I was over there still doing my thing. I was like, and they asked me, they were like, do you want to come run drills? And I was like, no, it's fine, because they were doing defensive back drills.
Oh, okay.
I was a receiver in high school and quarterback, so I was like, no, it's fine. Like, I'm not really, you know, a DB.
Yeah.
And I always had this animosity between DBs, just from, you know, my whole life growing up, and you know, it's always been a battle. So I was like, no, I'm okay. And they were just like, no, just come do the drills for us. It's nothing too big. And I was like, okay. So I went over there, and we did a couple drills. Like I can't remember exactly what we did, but it was our coach that set up the drills for us.
Yeah.
And then they just came out and they were just watching, and they were just making a joke like, do you not want to run drills with them? And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So I ran the drills, and they were just like, man, like, you have a lot of talent. Like, where have you been? And I was just like, man, if you look at my grades, you'll know. So that's what happened.
Got it. Okay. And now you've played some DB for the U.
I did, yeah. I ended up transferring over from receiver after my sophomore year, and ended up playing DB. And yeah, it was fun. It was really different. It's hard, you know, not playing DB in high school. Yeah. Coming to college and trying it for the first time. You know, some guys usually have a little bit of experience, but me, I really didn't have any. Like, I just wasn't a defensive player, so it was totally new. You know, it was foreign to me to play defense, especially corner. So it was challenging. It was challenging mentally, knowing that you feel like you can't do something and it's hard.
Right,
so
right.
Breaking through that to get to the point where you start seeing a little glimpse and you appreciate everything. You know. You make one play and you're like, okay, now it's coming. And it's just like, yeah, now I'm getting better, and then it's all a mind game. So there's a beauty in that grind moment as well, is when you feel like you can't do something and you finally can.
Awesome. Tyrone, how tall are you, just for the listeners?
When I did the measurements last time, I was 6'4", and I can't remember. I was almost 6'5" with no shoes on. I think now I'm almost 6'6".
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
wow.
And that was a year and a half ago when I did that. So I've been growing in college, so I'm close to 6'6".
Yes, yeah, you've been growing since I've known you.
Yeah.
For sure. If I see, I was like, I think that's Tyrone.
No,
that's a tall guy over there. I think
Yeah.
it's him.
Yeah.
So the average defensive back, let's say in the NFL, let's go NFL just for the sake of for fun. Receiver, average height, and average height of defensive back. I think that's more normal for receivers to be tall, but not DBs, right?
Correct.
So you probably have a good ability, long wingspan, to swap balls down or potentially intercept.
Yes, and that's like a new thing that's coming around, allowing bigger defensive backs, or the NFL's liking more size, just because I don't know exactly why, but you're covering up more ground.
Yeah.
And it's like a mismatch in some ways. So before it was smaller defensive backs because they move quicker usually,
Right.
you know.
Right.
But now it's the game's starting to change. You know, there's a lot of guys in the NFL that are like over 6'1", that play defensive back, and I think the tallest corner to play defensive back is somewhere around 6'4", 6'5". So
Got it.
It doesn't really go any higher than that.
Yeah. And then for receiver, what are those guys usually?
It ranges because you have inside receivers and outside receivers. So if you're an inside guy, they're usually somewhere between. It could be as short as 5'6", 5'5", all the way until you could be as tall as you want in the inside.
Got it.
The outside you can as well, but majority of the time they're bigger guys, and I think the cap is usually somewhere around 6'5", 6'6". It's rare to see guys taller than that on the outside. And
Got it.
Usually 6 foot is usually the shortest, but it just depends on the team and their playbook and their strength.
Gotcha. Okay. So just out of curiosity, at 6'4", 6'5", and now 6'6", have you played against a DB who's as tall as you yet? For the U? When you while at the U?
No.
No.
Yeah.
So you're taller than most of those guys that are covering you.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, interesting. Yeah, that's all right. So, tell me a little bit about. Let's dive into this very first injury you had. I had asked you the other day, was it from a hit or from a game or from practice? You shared with me that it wasn't.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about your very first injury, how it happened?
So like I always say, we are our worst enemies. I was just working out and I just cut off it awkwardly, and I ended up just popping a tendon in my ankle. I didn't know what it was at first, but I knew something was wrong because I knew when I like pushed off of it to jump, I didn't gain enough ground. So I was like, something's like a little awkward, but I felt the pop, but I thought it was just a click, Usually it's football, you don't really recognize like injuries, even if they're big or small. You just think that they're all pretty much the same. So I just cut off it wrong and pushed, and popped my tendon, and there was nobody around me. It was just me.
Wow.
Yeah. So
were you just practicing on your own, or at the school?
It was with the team. It was my off-season workout, so it was like no coaches out there or anything. It was just just us on our own, and I was just covering some guy, but I wasn't even close to him. He was a good distance away from me, and I was just breaking on a ball, and it was.
Wow.
Yeah, popped it.
What year was this?
This was 2017.
2017. Okay, so you were a sophomore.
Going into my junior year, yeah.
Okay.
So I was a sophomore going into my junior year.
Gotcha. Okay, so you played your freshman, sophomore year, then you sit out your junior year because of this injury.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're going to talk more about your future, because that led to a surgery. Yeah, we're going to talk more about that surgery and the 4 others here shortly. But I was just curious to see exactly how that happened. But what I want to talk about first, before we talk about those surgeries, is your thoughts on 2020 season for the University of Utah. What you had told me, we were at lunch this week.
Yeah.
Was it already this week?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we were at lunch, and you were saying how, like, a lot of the seniors have left, but there's still a lot of good talent coming up.
Correct. Utah football is we have some really good coaches. They're really smart, and they're all about development. As soon as you enter the program, it's all about development. As soon as your first day to your last day, they don't cut any slack for you. You do the workout. If you don't, you can walk out the door. That's the option.
Yeah.
So, so it's just a mind game, and so that development leads on, and you never know it. It sneaks up on you. You feel like you're on the back burner. You're just watching everybody else, and then out of nowhere it just hits, and you're playing. So that's something that that they kind of Coach Wood always talks about. Is it's always next man up. So nobody has a spot guaranteed forever. Now, if you put the work in, you come work every day, then obviously you're gonna hold that. But somebody gets injured, it's the next guy up. And he says it all the time, and some people don't realize it. But so it's the same situation now. We lost a quarterback, a running back, a receiver. I'm sure we lost a tight end. We lost a couple people on offense, but like I said, it's been next man up. The guys behind, they're just as good. Everybody has different strengths. Some guys are runners, some guys are strong, some guys are tall. It's just pretty much switching the game a little bit of the style of how we play. So I don't think we took a step back. I think the guys that we have now are just as good as the guys we had before. I believe in all the players. I believe that. Of course, we can be just as good or even better. That's the goal, is to get further in the season. So, we've been working out whenever we can, and even from spring ball, I feel like it looks good. The difference between now and before is we're kind of forced to use more players. We're forced to use every position compared to last year. We had a really good running back, really good quarterback, really good receiver, and that Hollindale trio. They were a really big force for us. So they we obviously wanted to utilize them. Because, why not? It's like a C code. Exactly. So now we're forced to spread it out a little bit more. So I think that will be fine. I don't think it will be a big problem.
Very cool. Very cool. That's awesome. Okay, cool. So now I want to dive into mindset a little bit. You talked about earlier that you were working on it as early as high school, you and your buddy who were supporting one another. When did you realize that this was something legitimate, real, that if you weren't controlling and strengthening your mind and you were letting it, let's say, some people have a weak mindset, some people have a strong mindset, some people believe in themselves, and so that's what gets them to take action, because they figure, well, of course I'll do it, so I might as well step forward. Where someone was like, I don't know if I can do it, so I'll just stay where I am. When did you start to realize, oh, this is something I need to work on?
The very first time it hit was when I was 6 years old. That's about my nightmare story, so I'll save that for a little bit later.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But another time it clicked in a different way was junior year of high school. I had a teacher. Her name was Mrs. Haynes.
Okay.
And she actually served in can't remember what branch she was, but she was in the military. And one day I was talking to her. I had an F in her class, and she was just asking me. She was like, "Why do you not put as much time into your work as you do with sports?" Because you work hard on the field. I've seen it. But in the classroom, you kind of lollygag. And I was like, I don't know. I just never really felt like school was that important to me. She asked me what classes I had good grades in. I always had a good grade in math.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. So math, I always had an A, and then or somewhere around. Like I usually would have a good grade in math, and then PE obviously. So she was like, "What are you doing in those classes that you're not doing in the others?" And I was just like, I'm not interested, and I just don't put the time in." So she kind of just taught me this way of when you do something for the same thing you do for one thing, just apply it to everything else. So we started in her class. Like I said, I had an F in her class, and yeah, she was just like, come in every day at lunch and do the work.
Yeah.
Do the work, do your homework instead of going home and then coming to class the next day without homework.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. She was like, learn how to distance from like your friends, like your group, because eventually, like, when you graduate, most of those people you won't see.
Right.
So it started to click, and yeah, so she just, once I got my grade up in her class, I got it to a B within like 2 or 3 months.
Oh, nice.
And it was really, the class wasn't hard. It was a really easy class. It just made it hard on myself.
Right.
So once I didn't like to do homework consistently, like it just ate my grade up. So that's why my grade would fall really quick. But yeah, so I brought my grade up in that class, and then she asked me like, what other classes are you in? And she just applied the same method from that class to the next class to the next class. Grades just shot up. So like after that, I never went below a 3.5, and I just, from the end of my junior year to my senior year, I just continued to just use that. So I applied that to everything else.
Nice.
And having somebody like her with the mindset she had and what she's been through in her life, you know, all the trauma she had, it just kind of encouraged me to have that mindset, you know, like kind of like be like her, kind of like carry myself the same way she carried herself, and help others the way she helped me. And yeah, so I used that for football and any other sport I was playing. Just, you know, just pretty much if it's something I don't like, just find a way to like it, or find a way to just give it my all instead of just kind of going through the motions, because you know, I mean, you never know what can happen until you try.
Right. Right. So. Absolutely. Very cool. Wow. So at a very, very young age.
Yeah.
Got it. Because a lot of people don't even discover mindset as something that they need to work on until they're much older, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's very, very cool that you realize that at such a young age. Did you say 6th grade or 6 years old?
6 years old.
6 years old.
The first time it really clicked.
Okay.
That was the first time. So
wow.
That's part of the nightmare story. And then this was in high school.
Got it.
Junior year was the teacher that helped me out.
Okay, gotcha. So my son is 4. So I gotta start teaching mindset now then. I didn't realize I was gonna have to teach him this quite so early. It's funny though, we do work on mindset, but he doesn't know we're working on mindset. I don't call it mindset or anything. You know, we just talk about you can do anything you want, and try, and just do, and you know, and he doesn't know success between failure yet, which is great, because then he doesn't have this hesitation of not trying something due to what people are afraid of failing, right? And so we just make him, well, make is probably not the right word, we encourage him to just try everything. You know, we try a lot of stuff, and so he's enjoying himself, but you know, we're going to have to up our game here.
No. He'll remember.
All right, so it's time for a commercial break, but before we go to commercial, you're definitely going to want to stay tuned, because when we come back, we're going to hear from Tyrone's nightmare story, and I'm excited to hear about it. I don't know what he's going to be sharing, so it'll be fun to listen in and definitely talk more about more mindset as we come back. Curious to hear about game day rituals, personal game day rituals Tyrone goes through to be ready for game day, as well as team kind of rituals that the team does, maybe together to get ready for game day. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. With smartphones and technology making life a little easier, the Snap Leash has also been designed to make life a little easier for you and your pup. Whether you're out on a stroll in the park, or possibly a walk through the city, or maybe even a hike up in the mountains, the Snap Leash is the perfect leash for you. The Snap Leash can easily and conveniently convert into 7 types of leashes, making the Snap Leash the most convenient leash in the world. What other leash do you know that is 7 leashes in one? With the Snap Leash having appearances on the Today Show in New York City, TV 47 in Dallas, Texas, and ABC 4 on Midday, Utah, you are definitely going to want to take a peek at what the Snap Leash can do for you and your best friend. So make life a little easier for you and your pup, and visit www.snapleash.com today. All right, guys, we are back. This is K-Talk Radio, 1640 AM. This is the show, Utah Home Sweet Home. I'm your host, Yoshi Shiraki. Our very special guest today is Tyrone Smith, receiver of the University of Utah football team. And it's nightmare story time. So we're going to hear a story that Tyrone's going to share with us, and possibly the lesson that can be learned from what came out of, the nightmare. With every bad situation that's happened to me, I've found a way to figure out a learning lesson from it, so that it's just not a negative in my life. It's a negative and then a positive after. And I think that's the best way to handle negativity, is figure out what can be learned from it, which is why we have the nightmare story, because anytime I lost money on a flip or a deal, it's probably those are the deals that I learned the most lessons on, which then turned out to be a positive. So, Tyrone, if you don't mind diving into the nightmare story.
Yeah, so I was 6 years old, and I had a stepmother, and I was living with her, and she, I didn't know it, but she was going through some mental problems.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was, but yeah, something was really bothering her, and I kind of realized it, and I was very confused. I didn't know exactly how to handle it, and I really thought it was kind of normal, but like I said, even though I was 6 years old, I kind of knew something was a little odd.
Right.
And yeah, she started to get very aggressive, like after some time. So like each month, whatever the case was, she was just getting more aggressive, and me as a young kid, like she always put pressure on me, and always kind of wanted to get the best out of me. And she would always say, if like you're acting like a girl, she would like do something to make me like, it wasn't like a punishment, but she would always make me do something that was like more like of a man job, I guess, like, or like getting a garden or whatever it was, I don't know, but
yeah.
So so one day I went to my grandmother's house, and she called my grandmother, and she had like, we had this bond, like she obviously loved me to death, but my grandmother was just like, something's not right, so I'm gonna bring you to my house. So I was staying with my grandmother for a couple of days, and she kept calling and like just was threatening my grandmother, and then eventually she just stopped calling. So she stopped calling, and it was like 2 days went by, and then we were just like, we were confused.
Yeah.
So because we know like how I don't know, like how pressured she is. She's always like trying to figure out where I'm at. So I needed to go back home to get clothes.
Yeah.
So we ended up going back home, and I remember pulling up to the house, or we pulled up to the house, and remember hearing like this loud noise, like it was like a radio, just loud, and we didn't know exactly what was going on. So the door was unlocked, everything was open.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I remember it was like it was really like misty. It was like a lot, like mist everywhere. You couldn't like see across the living room or anything. And yeah, my mom came with me as well.
Okay.
And she ended up walking into the room, and my stepmom ended up committing suicide.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
So she had to just put a pillow on her head and do what she did, and that kind of like, yeah, it was a shocker. Like I remember going to my room to grab some clothes and looking to the side, and I could see like my mom fall, and it was just like crazy. It was just like, it was set up, like they opened up, she made sure the door was unlocked, so you come in, and it was like, since you were gone, like this was gonna happen, this is what happened. So from a young age, like it's easy to kind of blame yourself.
Sure.
Or not even that, but as well as it was just it was tough. I never, like a lot of people I knew, they didn't experience that. So
heck yeah.
It kind of made me take, ever since I was younger, I took that serious. People going through like depression and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was like a thing. That's why like I dove into like psychology and stuff, because I always wanted to figure out like, what is it about the mind that can get somebody to that place, and if I can help, like what can I do? So that's why like this journey I'm on, it's not about me, it's not about Tyrone becoming the best NFL player, best college football player. It's just showing that no matter what happens in your life, like you can keep pushing, and I'm not depressed, I'm not I'm not in a bad place mentally. I've been at peace for a while, and yeah, like that was something, and like it was a crazy time, you know. It was something that was so powerful to
I
me.
can imagine.
So powerful to me that it sticks with me to this day. So it never burns out. You know, it's like a fuse that just continues. Like some people kind of, they have something that pushes them and then it kind of just dies out after a while. But that just stuck with me because that's something that people deal with daily. And
right.
I mean, sometimes you can feel it creep in. Like there's times that you're dealing with something and something gets hard and you're just like, doubts roll in. But it's like, you're either gonna deal with the doubts or you're either gonna push them out or you're gonna let them soak in. And yeah, so I just ever since then, like as I gotten older, I just dove deeper into the mind, and I'm not so big on like science when it comes down to the mind, because you know everybody's different, you know, and some people their mind just works different. I'm all about just like self accountability and you know like learning myself, learning like what triggers me, what makes me I guess sad, and like if I'm sad I guess and what makes me happy and stuff like that, and just kind of eliminating those things that do, because like I said, my stepmother was happy at the time,
right,
and then eventually got to that place. So what was it that triggered her, you know?
Right.
So, yeah, that was like one of my nightmare stories.
Wow, that is a nightmare, no question. And interesting that you decided to pursue psychology to understand what could lead someone to doing what they did. And yeah, definitely a nightmare story. I think now, are you more aware? Do you see people that you can now kind of go, oh, maybe that person's in a bad place, let me be a helping hand?
Yeah, it's a weird sense that I believe I have, and it's kind of cool at the same time. You can kind of see, you can tell immediately when. One thing is you can tell immediately when, like if you're talking to somebody and something bothers them or something makes them feel bad, or if somebody is dealing with something. Some people are really good at hiding it, but yeah, you can kind of tell immediately. I mean, even asking a couple questions, you can ask just anybody like about their life, and you can kind of tell like how they're living, and you know if they're actually happy in life, or if they're just living through the motions. And yeah, it's cool. I mean, I didn't I got a psychology minor and a sociology major. I wanted to dive deeper into psychology, but I didn't know if you get a minor or something, you can't get a major, so I messed up.
Got it.
But it's fine. Like I do a lot of research on my own, and just people that I can get information from and stuff. It's not like I have to really, go to school for it. I've lived through it, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I read I don't know the accuracy. You can't believe everything you read on the internet, but
Yeah.
I had read an article. I can't remember where the article was put out, which is why I'm not going to say it's true or not true.
Yeah.
But Utah, according to this article, has one of the highest suicide rates of youth.
Yeah.
Have you heard that too?
I did.
Yeah, which is crazy. It's obviously, not. It's a problem when you get these young kids who are finding that life is so challenging that, for whatever their challenge, whatever the reasons their challenge are, that the best way to remedy the pain is suicide. So it's nice that you can realize somebody, with what you've learned, that might be facing some challenges, and be able to reach out to these people and potentially, I guess, help give them, lend a helping hand.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, that article, or that's the studies, I've heard of it before at the university, and like that's where I heard the study.
Got it. Yeah.
Study from, and yeah, it's interesting because when you compare like Utah compared to or Salt Lake City, wherever the case is, compared to Fresno.
Yeah.
It's like Fresno's it's dangerous. It's a lot of bad things going on. A lot of gang violence, a lot of poverty in specific areas. Compared to Utah, it's a lot more nicer.
Yeah.
Things are kind of more set up. It's more family oriented. You have a lot of support from both peers.
Right.
It's different. So it kind of gets that was something that was really confusing when I came to Utah. It was like how does that work? But
yeah,
you can see it's not about the things you have. It's not
right.
about having everything growing up and that's why I kind of like to use like the hard times as, it's like you can kind of use it as motivation. Like when things are hard for me,
Yeah.
it's usually my brightest days because I always see a better future.
Oh, good.
But when things are so good,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, things are good, like things can't really get too much better.
Right.
So my future isn't as bright. So then that's when, like, you know, things start going in. I think that's when people get bored and they start getting depressed and stuff like that. So yeah, that's why it's, you know, it doesn't matter if you know, have a lot of money or if you know, you're very wealthy or whatever the case is.
Right.
Anybody could be dealing with this or dealing with that, and it's hard because some people, like I said, they're good, they're smart, they know how to hide it, and it's, you know, being able to kind of like see through it.
Got it. Well, thank you for sharing that nightmare story, Tyrone.
No problem.
We're going to take another commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about game day rituals. Curious to see what you do to get your mind ready for game day. Just out of curiosity, when you're playing receiver or DB, is there much trash talking right there at the line throughout the game, or not really?
Depends on who you're playing. Yeah, there's some teams that are kind of more mouthy, and there's teams that they won't say anything. So it's like sometimes you'll say something back to somebody, or you'll say something, you'll start it, and they're just quiet, and then you just kind of feel like,
Right.
That was dumb.
Right.
So I just prefer to shut up.
Right. Well, and if they start it with you, I should tell it when we come back. Maybe I'll tell the story how I met Tyrone. Because I saw you and Tango have a couple mouthy offensive, defensive drill practices back in the day.
For sure.
Those were fun to watch.
For sure.
Yeah. And so obviously I know that you can hold your own if somebody does get mouthy with you.
Right.
If somebody does, do you return the favor?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that was kind of how I was brought up, you know. You don't let anybody, you know, pretty much, we call it trick you out your position, you know, like when somebody just tries to establish that dominance in front of you, you have to, you know, make sure you hold your own. So it's something that we grew up on. It's nothing like crazy or personal, but yeah.
Right. Awesome. Okay, great. So when we come back, we're going to hear about these game day rituals and dive into that a little bit deeper. But for now, we're going to take a commercial break, so don't go anywhere. Hi, I'm Yoshi Shiraki, the author of the book, My Body's Just For Me, the book written for children to educate children on the prevention of child abuse. With the assistance of multiple best-selling author Richard Paul Evans, we were able to publish this book as a tool to help break the ice in an easy and innocent way to help children understand and learn how to speak up and communicate. I've been invited numerous times on the Good Things Utah to discuss the importance of good communication with your child in regards to abuse, and also to discuss how the book, My Body's Just For Me, is a great tool for every parent when having that tricky conversation with their children. For more information on the book, My Body's Just For Me, please visit www.protectourangels.com today. And remember, the more we focus on prevention, the less we'll have to focus on rehabilitation. All right, we are back at 1640 a.m. This is the show, Utah Home Sweet Home. We are talking with Tyrone Smith, the receiver of the University of Utah. And now, you know, the topic for today is mindset. Having a strong mind, obviously throughout life when you run into challenging obstacles, and there are some people that let these obstacles get the better of them and unfortunately, you know, may not ever take further action on getting out or improving, and there's others that will learn from these obstacles and become stronger. And so mindset is the topic of the day, but now, you know, I'm kind of excited. I love watching greatness, right? I think my favorite show, if you can call it a show, I'm not sure what you would call it, only happens every 2 years, which is the Olympics, right? And it's only every 2 years because it's, you know, if you follow just the Summer Olympics, it's every 4 years, but they stagger winter and summer. So every 2 years, I tune in for 2 weeks straight, nonstop, watching the best in the world at certain crafts. I'm fascinated by greatness. I love watching greatness. And for me, it's one of the things that drives me to be greater, to see someone so great pushing the human limits that I think, man, I'm so far behind. I got a lot of work to do, right? And watching greatness is one of the biggest motivators that I like to you know, for me to do to keep my mind strong. You know, ironically, Muhammad Ali, watching some of his promotions back in the day when he used to fight are some of the things that I like to watch to get me in the right state of mind, because a lot of people might say that was cocky, and it might have been, and I guess how you define cocky, but what I saw was extreme confidence, right? And you have to make your mind confident if you're going to be able to go out and push what makes you uncomfortable. If you go out there and basically live life not being uncomfortable, that means you didn't grow, right? Like I tell people all day, I tell people all this all the time that are wanting to learn how to do real estate. You know, you're gonna have to make cold calls, you're gonna have to door knock, you're gonna have to, you know, basically talk to strangers and see if they want to sell their house to you, and some of them are gonna slam the door in your face. But if you didn't do anything that made you uncomfortable today and you lived the entire day comfortable, you didn't grow that day. Somehow you had to be uncomfortable, whether it was out on the field running sprints to your heart's pounding, lifting tires, as you were telling us before the show. You were uncomfortable part of that day. You grew as an athlete that day. Whether it's the mind, whether it's the body, if you're not uncomfortable, you didn't grow that day. And so I like watching confidence that people portray, which is why I love the Olympics, which is why I loved watching, or I still love watching promotions of Muhammad Ali. You know, watching him fight, you could see he's confident, but I love to see what he had to say before the fight, because it didn't matter if he was the favorite or not the favorite. The guy, in his own mind, believed he'd win, right? And that's where it starts. So because I love watching this stuff, I love watching the Olympics, what these athletes kind of do before, you know, they hit the starting line or go or whatever. Always fascinated with these game day rituals. Tyrone, do you have a personal game day ritual that you do? Maybe it's something you get up in the morning and start with, or maybe it starts right before the game. Do you have anything like that that you practice?
Nothing too specific. Me, I'm indecisive with many things. One game I'll be one way, another game I'll be another, and it shows. You know, in the game you can tell. Like it's like a different person sometimes. But it does start from pregame. It starts from the day before, that getting that good night rest. You know, just surrounding your mind with positive things and things like that. Sometimes you have to, like you said, you're talking about getting uncomfortable. You somehow have to use that because it gives you that adrenaline. So like there's, for prime example, say my first game in college, it was versus Michigan, home, and like I was nervous, like I had jitters and everything, and then after like the first couple plays, they kind of like lingered out. I was like, okay, this is pretty normal, you know, but I kind of wish I held on to them a little longer, because it kind of would have, it kind of makes you, everything you do it harder, you know, because you're just like panic mode. Just go. So it can hurt you, but it can help you. So trying to find that balance, because that time I was in too much panic mode. Compared to like my sophomore year, I had a game where I was like so relaxed. Like I didn't feel anything. It was just like, I'm gonna just go out there and play. But you could see it because my body language, it looked like I was nonchalant. It was kind of like I was going through the motions. So and the difference between both of those was, one time, the first game that I had, I was listening to like music, like more like up, like tempo music. And compared to the other game, it was like
Adele.
It was softer music, and it was just like, man, I gotta find that balance. So now for this year, like I said, it was more so about me before. Now it's not about me. It's, I mean, for me, I'm working on just dedicating like as much as my life as I can to God. Like it's all for God. So before the game now, like my new ritual would be, you know, going through my Bible and, you know, just going through that, and just learning more about just like faith, you know. They say what is it? Fear is a failure of faith. So like, you know, when you have those, when you have that fear, you know, obviously you're lacking faith in something. So if I go out there and I'm scared, then it's obviously I'm lacking faith in what I like in my ability. So I probably didn't work as hard, or whatever the case is. But if I go out there and I have faith, I can have jitters, you know, stuff like that. That's normal, you know. But like I said, I want to use it as momentum. So I kind of try to get myself there. So pretty much, it's really like I said, it's all for Him. Like I've learned that like in the past couple of years, like it's like I said, it's not about me. It's about doing whatever I can to put his name first and give back to him.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Is there anything specific that you'll eat on game day that you feel just gives you the most energy, so you don't fade out and get tired? Oatmeal, pasta.
Yeah, I'm big on oatmeal.
Snickers.
Yeah, it's hard because we have our pregame meal. So if we say we have a game at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Pregame meal is probably like 3,
Okay.
2. So you have your pregame meal and then you go to the stadium, and then we're at the stadium 3 hours prior to the game. So we're there before everybody.
Yeah.
It's empty when we get there. So it's sometimes that food, if you don't eat enough, it doesn't hang on. Some people get nervous before games, so they can't eat a lot, and it kind of catches up to them in the game. You see some people with cramp, like they'll cramp, or
Right.
they don't have the energy. So it's pretty much, I have to dive deeper into what I should eat. I know for me, carbs work really good because they sit in me pretty well for some reason, and less meat because I don't want to feel like heavy in the game. So more carbs for me is like the best, and then I'll just snack throughout. So I'll probably pick a time like every hour just to snack, just a little bit. Maybe if it's like some crackers or some fruit, something that could just stay in me. But I don't want to be too full before the game. I don't want to be on an empty tank. So,
Right.
Yeah, probably like pasta and stuff will be something that I'll be eating this time.
Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I loved how you used the word panic, giving you the jitters. It's almost like a panic. And it took me back. When you said that word, oh gosh, this is a long, long time ago. Maybe like 15, 20-ish years ago, I went to Pamplona, Spain, and ran with the Bulls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I went with 2 of my buddies here. We grew up with them. We went to high school with them here in Salt Lake. And I was living in New York City at the time. They were both living here in Salt Lake. And one of them called me up and said, hey, we're thinking about doing just a tour of Europe. And we did a lot of Europe. We went to flew into London and made our way to France and Spain and just kind of all over the place. But the whole trip was surrounded about running with the Bulls.
Oh, wow.
And it's such a party, it's such a festivity that you don't feel nervous because, well, first of all, I was too stupid to know I should be nervous, right? And we got to it's a mile route where these bulls run. Mm-hmm. And they run it in like 4 minutes, the bulls. They're fast. I mean, they're big animals, but they go fast. And somebody, we get there and someone says, hey, listen, if you want to have the ultimate experience, start your running with the bulls at the beginning of the mile because they're not tired and they're powerful and they're going to be explosive versus at the end where they're kind of tired and they're going to be slower. So me and my 2 buddies are like, oh, yeah, we want the ultimate experience. So we're about 100 yards from the gate because it's just packed. I mean, it's just full of people, right? And that's as close as we could get. And you know that you're not going to run with them the whole time because they run faster than I don't run a 4-minute mile, right? And so, and literally there's like a cannon that goes off so that everybody knows they've been released. And you're just kind of sitting there and everyone starts sidestepping, like looking back, sidestepping away, away, away. And then I think what happens is the bulls become visible.
Yeah.
And then it's pure panic.
Yeah.
Everybody panics and goes, holy cow, what am I doing? And then everybody turns around because there's like 6 of them taking the whole lane. And so it's a small little street in Spain, right? It's not like this big highway, I-215, 6 lanes deep. It's just a little street. And everyone goes into freaking panic. And then what happens is you feel their panic, so you panic. Because you're like, oh my gosh, everyone's panicking. This is not good. What ends up happening is more people get hurt by people than the bulls because then you just start they're trying to survive, right?
Exactly.
So all of a sudden I feel this panic, I turn around, I start running full speed ahead as fast as I can, and literally I'm running faster than people in front of me, and what's happening is everyone who runs faster starts pushing over the people in front of them. So not like I wanted to hurt anybody, but I was like hitting people in the back, so to get them to move, but some of them were falling because of my hit in the back. I felt like a fullback, right? Trying to save my life. And so when you use the word panic, I totally what you mean. Those jitters came in and I performed. I probably would have scored a touchdown if I was playing for the U at the time. That panic made me nonstop. All right, well, does the team have any game day rituals that you guys get together? I mean, you obviously coach is getting you hyped up before the game, but anything else?
Before the game, yeah, we have our pregame meal, and then we'll have a talk, so the coaches, everybody will get in a room, and then we'll play a highlight video of the game before. So yeah, they'll pretty much get you pumped up. So it's just like a pump up video. So which is really nice because you get to see like things that happened good the week before. It's just like, it's very encouraging to do the same. Or if you didn't make a play, it's like, okay, I want to make a play. I want to do a highlight video. So yeah, we'll do that, and then it's really quiet, and that's the difference between like here and when I was in high school. We were always loud. Yeah. You know, before the game, we had our music blasting. It was loud from the morning to the game was over. It was always just like, you know, everybody was going crazy and just having a good time. More like a party compared to here. It's more quiet. It's about business, and it's, you know, just calm before the storm. You know, Coach talks about that as well. You know, just being calm and just relax. Don't use all that energy like before. You know, to save it. Yeah. So yeah, it's usually we'll watch the highlight video that kind of gets you going. Yeah. And then that's when we get on the buses and come to the stadium. Got it. So, and then when we come to the stadium, it's, you know, it's pretty much you're on your own after that. You know, you go and start warming up, and whatever ritual you want to do from there is on you. Can't play music in the locker room because everybody's variety of music is different. Yeah. So, you know, just bring your own headphones, and go on the field and get started. Nice, nice. Awesome. All right, Tyrone, well, we're at the end of our show. Where can people follow you on social media if they want to stay in tune with you? I mean, this is your senior year, so next year could be a number of opportunities. Maybe the NFL. I've heard you throw around boxing. Mm-hmm. So I know I'm going to be following you. I already do. Where can people follow you? My Instagram, man, I haven't been on it in a while. I think it's either Tyrone Young Smith or Tyjay Young Smith. So Tyjay, and then Young and Smith. Or if that doesn't pop up, then you can look for T-Boney, Tboney. Oh yeah. So it usually will pop up on there. I don't have any football stuff on there. It's like an account that I just kind of keep more private. But yeah, I haven't been on in a while, so if you do follow me, and I don't follow back, it's nothing personal. How about Facebook? Do you do anything on Facebook? Facebook, I don't even remember my Facebook. Honestly. Okay. I haven't been on social media in a minute now. You know, I've been, you know, kind of away from it. So. Got it. Yeah, it's just Instagram. Got it. Okay. Excellent. Well, Tyrone, thanks so much for joining me on the show today. I really appreciate it. No problem. And you guys have been listening to the show, Utah Home Sweet Home. This is K-Talk Radio 1640 AM. I hope you all have a spectacular rest of the day.